Let's go. Straight up the top, just so you know ain't no stopping us. Yeah, I see you been watching us. You can try, but you better off eyeing a spectate from the audience. Why you hating from the bleachers? Cheerleaders is loving us. Grab a pom-pom, baby. Last year we was last place, this year we in first. We was hungry for the title, now we quenching our thirst. You was on your best behavior, yeah, we on our worst. Killing the competition.
Alright guys, in today's lesson we got a over-the-top swinger, you could say, definitely out to end path, so this time the over-the-top move correlates to that. So we're going to talk a little bit about his setup, we're going to talk a little bit more about backswing and the pivot, and then maybe some hand path ideas on the way down. So let's kind of get into it. So just that setup, we can notice if we draw a line from his butt straight down, we can see he might have a little bit too much pressure out towards the heels. So we can get this player's pelvis maybe just a touch more underneath him, maybe staying maybe just a fraction further away from the golf ball to set up. But other than that, really not too bad. If we draw these arrows right here just from the balls of feet, kneecaps, and armpits, let me get that just perfect. He's not too far off here, so he's pretty good in that sense. Now from there, let's talk about kind of the backswing. So as we take him up to P2, we can note that shoulder axis is a little flat at this position. It looks like he's staying in front bend. You can tell that because his head's moving in a little bit closer to the golf ball. And as well, he's adding on maybe just a touch too much pronation in the left wrist and going into a little bit of extension in the right. So getting club head maybe just a touch too far behind him at this position. All in all, not too bad of a takeaway if he kind of corrects it by doing the correct things from P2 to P4. But as we can note that he keeps on with this rotation and going into front bend look. So head's getting closer and closer to the golf ball, which means he can maybe have a touch more depth here, and definitely pressures way out to the toes right now. So whenever a player gets in this position at the top of the backswing, I mean, even look at that, his heel's already off the ground. We're going to see this player definitely hand path work too far out. We're going to see body start kind of going into that early extension look, butt sucking in, sternum going into extension instead of flexion. So let's see if I'm right. So yeah, we can see definitely hand path working too far out. Shaft pitch is definitely steep in this position. Butt's starting to suck in. Knees are starting to extend. Chest is starting to extend a little bit. From here, he goes into a massive bit of right bend, trying to kind of hold the right elbow angle. He's probably been told to stay at his spine angle before. And then we can see hand path exiting low and left. He's got that flip release where left wrist goes into extension. So he's probably hitting maybe like a really spinny high cut possibly on his misses. Pretty good balance finish from there. So anyways, first things first, like I said, we got to fix setup. Then from there we could probably work a little bit on takeaway, getting this player instead of just going in rotation and front bend, he's going to need to add on a little bit of left bend to kind of balance him out so his head doesn't go so much into the golf ball. From there we could talk about maybe getting the forearms going into that gradual supination feel I like to see in the takeaway, basically from setup to P2, getting rid of a little bit of that right extension in the right wrist, maybe feeling like it's going into a little bit flatter feel, and then possibly talk about a little bit more radial at this position as well, and that'll kind of get takeaway cleaned up from there. Once he gets that going on, this player's definitely going to have to feel like he's keeping a little bit of left bend while going into extension of thoracic, have a bit of an up move. That'll keep head from moving in towards the golf ball. From there, you'll have pressure kind of balanced out. It'll be more towards the heels at this point, hopefully 80% into that right heel for a good pressure trace on the downswing. He'll have plenty of depth at the top. He'll be in a good position. From there, we could talk about ideas of working the axis of the shoulders correctly, the pelvis correctly, getting the sternum lowering and all that good stuff, and then hopefully getting him a feel of having hand path. For him, it's probably going to feel like it's dropping vertically down at first. But ideally, obviously, we all know that works a little bit out and a little bit vertically down, and then kind of with rotation, it works out towards, it works more out. The rotation kind of works the club out. So for him, he's going to have to feel like hand pass dropping behind him, and then once he starts with his rotation, that'll work it back out. So anyways, those would be the fixes. From there, if he's still steepening the shaft, which I highly doubt it, but if he is, then we can work on ideas around that. But once the player kind of gets the backswing pivot a lot better, I believe it's going to fix a lot of these issues, and you're just going to be able to kind of fix everything else from there. Anyways, guys, hopefully this was insightful. This is a pretty common move I see, definitely in slicers. More so kind of like I'd say like the 12 to kind of 18 handicap slicers. Not necessarily the guys that are shooting the hundreds, but guys that have been getting around for a little while with their cut. I definitely see this motion where pressure gets out to the toes, they back away from it, steep the shaft, exit left type of look. So anyways, guys, hopefully this helps. Best of luck.
Chess, except it ain't a game. Some pawns remain pawns, some pawns become kings. Think before you move, think 3 steps ahead. Peep game, protect queen. Some rooks get took, some knights get swiped, some bishops get slain. I'ma tell you like my homie told me, life is like chess except it ain't a game. So when you gotta want it, you know my team want it.